Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to talk about the Ballon d'Or. Now we saw the ceremony yesterday or last night, and Ousmane Dembele was the winner of the Ballon d'Or for last season. And I have like a few thoughts, and that's what I wanted to share today. But please remember to subscribe to the channel, like and comment down below, share, turn on your notification bell for whenever we drop a video. So yeah, Ousmane Dembele won his first Ballon d'Or of his career, and I think you've always seen the talent in Ousmane Dembele from when he was at Lille and then he went to Dortmund to Barcelona. Now I think that's where the stumbling block kind of like it kind of took him it took a few things from him in terms of like the way he was playing, his productivity, his inconsistency, and most of all, like the injuries at Barcelona. Like he would miss so many games, and every season, it was like clockwork. At some point in the season, early or in the middle or at the end of the season, you wouldn't have Ousmane Dembele. You couldn't count on him. And Barcelona, I mean, I understand if I'm Barcelona, I want to sell him because we can never count on him. Every season, he's in the squad, but he doesn't play because of the injuries. And the thing about Ousmane Dembele is, even with the little bit of time that he had on the field, he was so inconsistent at Barcelona. And like some games he would be great, and some games he would just not turn up. And one example was when, in the Champions League, when Barcelona played against Liverpool, and essentially he had the chance to basically wrap up the whole tie. I think that famous play when Messi gave him the ball and it was an open net, basically he had to score that goal, and he didn't. He missed, and you saw Messi lay down on the floor, and you could read his mind saying, this kid is not going to go anywhere. Like, he's not going to amount to much. He's good, but he's not going to win big things, So I think, like, if you're Barcelona and you're in that position, you want to sell him because he wasn't giving you much. He wasn't giving you anything. He was really just doing cardio, at your expense, at your time. He was basically just running the Boston Marathon, the Comrades Marathon. That's what he was doing, getting some cardio in, free cardio at Barcelona. And they sold him to PSG. Now, when he went to PSG, Mbappe was still there, and I think it was kind of hard to assert himself as he was the guy, and that's his team. And it was not going to be his team while Kylian Mbappe was there. No, it was not going to be anyone's team when Kylian Mbappe was there. I mean, you saw Messi and Neymar there, and it was still Kylian Mbappe's team. So if you're Ousmane Dembele, you are not going to, grow. You are not going to become the leader that he is today. And I think, like PSG, of course, they probably wouldn't have, like if you had to ask PSG, maybe they wouldn't have wanted to sell or let go of Kylian Mbappe, but it was one of the best things they could have done. Seriously, like, you don't, no, teams, you as a team, you don't want to lose a player like that, right? Generational talent, you're probably your best player of all time, until now. But you don't want to lose players like Kylian Mbappe. But him leaving set a platform for Ousmane Dembele and other players to just set off, to just go and be big. And that's what you saw them become last season, winning 4 trophies and the Champions League. They've wanted the Champions League for so long in their history, and they got it with Ousmane Dembele's leadership. His goals, I think he scored 34 goals in 50 something games. His best season by far his best season. He was the talisman. He led from the front. He pressed high. He he simplified his game. I think that's the other big thing that he did. Like he firstly he changed positions, right? He was known as a winger, and then last season he played centrally as a striker. And that was a big change for him because I think he simplified his game. He didn't take as many touches as he used to. He's a great dribbler. He's fast. He's great on the ball. Left foot, right foot, we've seen him do it all, right? And because of that, he probably felt like he had to always do more. But he simplified his game, took less touches. He was lethal in front of goal. And I think he went to a different level. And also the pressing aspect that Luis Enrique had been asking Kylian Mbappe to do. Press, work hard, you have to lead from the front. Ousmane Dembele got that right away, and he popped. And he was awesome. He was awesome. So, like, his season was awesome. He was great. He also, like, all those 34 goals weren't just, against tin cans and weak teams. Those kind of goals came in big moments, away to Liverpool at Anfield, away at Arsenal at the Emirates, and he was sensational. His play, his hold-up play, his passing, his decision-making, he was just that good. He was just that good. So, look, my pick for the Ballon d'Or would have been Lamine Yamal. If I had a vote, I would have voted for Lamine Yamal. I think he was the best player last season. I think he's the best player today. And the things that Lamine Yamal did, beating or being the best player against Real Madrid 4 times in a row last season. Being the 2 games against Inter Milan, I've rarely seen like individual performances to that level many. I haven't seen a player do that many times. And like I'm talking about like greats, you know what I mean? And for him to perform like that against Inter Milan, who were then known as one of the best defenses in Europe, DeMarco one of the best fullbacks in Europe, and he made a mess out of him. He toyed with him. He dominated the whole game. He had the whole game in his control, under his string. And like Lamine Yamal did that all season long. He was that good the entire season. He was great. He would take players on. I'll say, like I've said this many times, Lamine Yamal is the greatest teenager I've ever seen. He's the greatest teenager of all time. So in my opinion, slightly I would have went for Lamine Yamal. Also, I mean, like, you think about it, Ousmane Dembele had a really good team around him. Kvaratskhelia, Desiree Doué, Vitinha, João Neves, Fabian Ruiz, Hakimi, Mendes, and he just had a great team to work with that went all the way, winning the Champions League, winning 4 trophies. Whereas I think if you look at that Barcelona team, it's slightly weaker, even though they do have great players. Lewandowski is great, Rafinha is great, Pedri is great, De Jong is great, but they just don't have as good a team as PSG does. But not taking anything away from Ousmane Dembele, I think I would have voted for Lamine Yamal, but Ousmane Dembele deserves to win the Ballon d'Or. And this will be, in a few years, I think this will be the most fair, the least controversial Ballon d'Or win in years. Because last year there were lots of talks. Rodri shouldn't have gotten it. People say. The year before, they say Messi shouldn't have won. And so I think in a few years, this is the first kind of Ballon d'Or where you're like, okay, he deserves to win it. He's the guy. But the other thing about Ousmane Dembele and how he's just won the Ballon d'Or, it's one of the greatest redemption arcs I've ever seen in football. Like, for him to come back, as I said, like I told you about Barcelona, it was quite bad. It was quite a disaster. He won trophies, but it wasn't because of him. It wasn't because he was performing great. Messi was still dominating great. Suarez was still there when he was there. And like, when you look at his time at Barcelona, it looks like his career is done. It looks like his career was done and he wasn't going to do anything. And for PSG to come and to take him and to bring him back to life, and for him to bring himself back to life, it's one of the greatest comebacks I've ever seen. From the injuries, the inconsistency, all of that. And he came back and he's just won the Ballon d'Or. He won the Champions League, he won the Ballon d'Or, he was the best player for PSG. That is an incredible comeback. When I think of like career comebacks, Van Dijk after the knee injury, remember that like for at least 2 seasons, people had written him off. He's overrated, blah, blah, blah. Now, he's one of the best centre-backs anyone's ever seen. I said this. And people were like, nah, he's overrated. Okay. R9, when he came back from the ACL injury to win the World Cup and to win his second Ballon d'Or, that was a comeback. That was a big, big comeback. John Terry, when Rafa Benitez said he was done, he wasn't going to do anything, basically retiring John Terry, and he captained Chelsea to one more league title before he left. Big. Andre Pirlo being let go by AC Milan, and he went to Juventus and he started a dynasty. It was like he started a second career. But this Ousmane Dembele is probably one of the greatest comebacks I've seen from a player. I think this is better than when R9 came back from that injury and he won the World Cup. I think it's slightly better because he had a full season. Like, R9 was awesome in the tournament, and that was the best we saw Ronaldo after the injuries. But Ousmane Dembele was great the entire season after what had happened at Barcelona and everything else. I think that's like, it's such an awesome comeback. And for any footballer, like anyone just in life looking at this, right? Looking at Ousmane Dembele and how he came back. Like, it's never too late to change things. I know it's cliche, but because of what we've just seen from Ousmane Dembele, you can come back and turn things around. You can never, ever, ever give up. You can never, ever, ever give up on anything, bro. You have to fight. Shout out Ousmane Dembele. Well-deserved Ballon d'Or. I think that's awesome. Happy for him. But anyway, let me know what you think. Comment down below. Like, subscribe. Share our channel. Turn on your notification bell. And look us up for our next video. Until then, have a nice week. Awareness.